Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. Words have power. Words spoken over you have power in your life. Words that you speak to other people have power over them. And the words you say to yourself, what you think and say about yourself, those control your life. Words have power. How many of you have said words that you later regretted? How many of you have had words said over you that you still impact your life, that still come up like a tape of just keeps coming back. You're no good, or what's the matter with you? Things like that. That's the power of words. And I think of the weed. There's a weed called a dandelion, and it produces seeds, and the seeds are white. It looks like a white ball. And when the wind blows on it, the seeds just go everywhere. And it is impossible to get the seeds back. Once they're out there, they don't come back. And that's what our words are like. Once we speak them, the damage is done. And unfortunately, we tend to speak words that damage people when we are angry. When we're angry, we say words, and we wish we could get those words back. But like the dandelion seeds, it's impossible. There are words of gossip. There are hurtful words that come, negative words, angry words. And James, if you were to analyze his books, one of the main subjects is our tongue. That means he means not our physical tongue, but our words. And he understands the power of our words. I'm just trying to think why James, who is the half brother of Jesus, would think that. Maybe he said negative things about Jesus before he became a follower. If you remember, before the crucifixion, he was didn't believe in Jesus. He thought he was wrong, tried to get him back to come back home. So maybe something happened, and he personally experienced the power of words and regrets what he said. I don't know. But a main topic in James's book is the tongue, our words. And in James chapter 3, verse 6, he says this: the tongue is also a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. And we read that and we know it's true. Our words, our tongue, is like a fire. It's like a fire. Once it starts, you can't stop it. I mean, I've been in situations where my words escalated and the other person's words escalated. And it's almost like there's no going back at that point. The words are out there and the fire starts. And it's a world of evil among the parts of the body, he says. It corrupts the whole body, affects everything, and can set the course of our life on fire. That's the thing. Our words determine our course, the course of our life. And he uses two examples right before verse 6, in verse 3 and 5. He uses the example of putting a bit in a horse's mouth. Now, I grew up in the city, but I understand a bit is you put it in the mouth, and you can turn the horse, and when you turn the horse, it goes that way. You control the whole horse by the little bit in its mouth. And so the idea is we control the whole course of our life by what we say. And then he uses the second example of a huge ship They had sailing ships in those days. But what drove the ship from one way to the left or to the right was a little rudder in the water. You move the rudder this way, it goes that way, this way, it goes that way. The whole thing is controlled by that rudder. So he says, likewise, the tongue. It's a small part of the body, but it will control our whole course of our life. And that's what why he emphasizes our words. Jesus said it's out of the mouth that the heart speaks. So it's not the tongue in itself. It's not the tongue in itself. The tongue is just a muscle. It's a piece of flesh. But it's how we express what's in our hearts. So if angry, hurtful words come out of our mouth, it's a heart issue. It's a heart issue. If gossip comes out of our mouth, it's a heart issue. It's a heart issue. Whatever comes out of our mouth is a heart issue. So how do we control the tongue? How do we prevent? I mean, so many times I've said things that I wish I could get that back, and I can't. Or I haven't said something that would have encouraged someone, would have lifted someone up, and I missed the opportunity. And you can't go back. So what do we do? Number one is to be aware of our words. That's the first step. Be aware of your habits, because these are habits we have. Be aware of how maybe you use coarse joking, which people laugh at, but it really cuts. It really cuts. Be aware of your words. Second is understand it's your heart. It's your heart. It's not your words. The words are a reflection of your heart. Your heart is deceitfully wicked. Ask God to cleanse your heart. If you haven't surrendered your life to Jesus, that's the second step. Realize I'm just going to surrender my heart to Jesus, and then ask him to control your heart. So first, be aware you have a problem. That's step one all the time. I have a problem. The problem is me. The second step is surrender to God. Surrender to God. And ask him to change your heart. And then instead of these hurtful words, gossip words, words of empowerment will come out of your mouth. Words of blessing will come out of your mouth. Words of reconciliation will come out of your mouth. And God will turn the whole situation around and use your words as a blessing to generations and generations after you. God bless you, and I will see you tomorrow.